Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Sharon and I'm an incoming trainee clinical psychologist. Actually, when you're watching this, I probably have started training, so I am a trainee clinical psychologist, which is so weird to say. In today's video, I just wanted to have a little heart-to-heart with you guys and with my future self, because I've had a lot of feelings around starting training, and I thought I've documented my journey so far, and this channel is all about normalizing the experiences, the emotions, all of the things about the journey to becoming a clinical psychologist. And so I just thought I would unpack some of these emotions that I've been feeling in regards to training, because a lot of you guys have asked about how I feel about training, and I think it's so complex and it's changed over time. And now that I've got about, I think, 10 days until I start my course, the feelings have changed again. And I feel like every day I wake up and there's like a different email or something else happens or something in my personal life happens where I'm like, it just changes all the time. If you haven't already, then please hit the subscribe button and give this video a like if you like these chatty, reflective videos. I have written some stuff down on my phone because I thought I'd save you guys the stress of having to listen to me babble on in a unstructured manner. So I guess we'll begin with when I first found out that I got onto training. So as you guys would have seen on results day, where I found out that I got onto training via email, it was really hard for me to understand because I genuinely thought I had flopped the interview so badly. And like, I'm not just saying that, like, it was probably the worst interview that I've ever done, in my opinion. And I'm still unsure why, and I try not to think about this too much because I get into the hole and I don't want to get in the hole of, you know, feeling unworthy. But genuinely, that's why I just felt so much disbelief when I found out that I got on, because I was like, this doesn't make sense. Firstly, I'm a first-time applicant. Secondly, my interview was awful. Thirdly, I am from a background that tends to have more barriers than most, and so it does make it a bit harder maybe. And so there were all of these things where I was like, it makes more sense that I don't get on rather than me getting on. Oh, also the fact that I'm so young, right? So there were all of these things where I was like, it actually makes more sense that I don't get on rather than me getting on. So I was just in like complete disbelief, and then I suddenly just shifted this disbelief to gratitude because I think I just didn't know what to do. And I was just like, you know what, I did say on my interview day that if I got on, then it was literally all God. And like, honestly guys, I don't know what happened, but it was a miracle in my eyes. I know not everyone believes in a God, but I do believe, and my God came through. And then I felt again this, like, all of it was so overwhelming, and then I just felt this overwhelming sense of relief that I would never ever have to go through that process again. Because guys, I know I've spoken about this, 10 months of like long hard work, but it's 10 months where you're constantly critiquing yourself, you're constantly studying, you're constantly like doing something after work, and it gets really tough and it's a really hard process. And then you're speaking with your psychology friends who are all like, oh yeah, like I've got an interview for here, here and here, and you're just there like, I haven't got anything yet. It's a process, isn't it? Everyone knows that it's not the easiest process. The fact that I never have to do that again, I'm just like, hallelujah. And also the fact that I will never ever have to look for an assistant psychologist job again, because actually when I am qualified, I should be able to find a job a lot easier than I would when I was an assistant. And maybe that's completely wrong, but that's just my thoughts at the moment. And then actually, and I don't want this video to come across as like ungrateful at all. Obviously, like, I'm so grateful and I feel so just like pleased that I got on with training. So don't think that me speaking about other emotions on this video discounts that. It's not the case. Like, I am so grateful and happy to be on training. But there was also this thought of like you guys, and how actually by me getting on this first round, I can't give you guys that advice and the reflections that I did when I was doing my assistant applications and interviews, because I have nothing to compare it to anymore. I can't say that one year I did it right and one year I did it wrong, or this year I did it differently and so this works. I don't have a tried and tested method or process with this. And so part of me was a bit like, you know, not annoyed, but a bit disappointed that I didn't have these reflections for all of you guys, which would have been so helpful, and I would have loved to see that. In the future, I do want to get more people on this channel and have some more like conversations, but I think that could be quite helpful, maybe speaking with someone who has gone through it maybe multiple times and can see like what they did right and what they maybe could have improved on. Like I said, my emotions have changed so much since then, and like it's been a daily like change in emotions, definitely to do with like the stuff at work and then personal life and all of that. So currently I'm in the process of moving to Essex. That brings up a lot of emotions, obviously, because I'm not leaving my friends and family behind. That's so dramatic, because I'm only an hour away from London. It would just be too long for me to drive every day. What's going through my mind a lot right now, because I'm moving, is this thing, I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, like, not saying, but people always say it like making it out the borough. And I will and have made it out the borough, and I will now have this financial freedom that my family didn't have before. And so moving away from my borough has really made me realise that now, and it's really like hit me quite strong. But then there's also this thought of like, oh, am I going to really fit in this new environment, this new area, around these people who have never probably had to experience like some of the things that I have had to experience in my life, just because we are from very different backgrounds, which is okay. Being different is okay, but there are these concerns that I might not relate to people as easily in this new place that I'm going to. But in the same way, I also feel very distracted by moving, and so actually all of these thoughts of like being an imposter, feeling unworthy, have actually gone to the back of my mind, because I literally do not have capacity right now to think about that, because I have so much going on. Moving is a hassle, and before that I was looking for a home and a housemate, and then we had the psychology platform event and then YouTube and things like that. And I know none of this is like mandatory, no one is holding me accountable apart from myself, but I also know the importance of having this space for other people and how important this would have been for me as an aspiring psychologist. And so there are just so many different things going on right now, as well as trying to catch up with friends and all of that. So in a way, this chaos has been very helpful for my mental health, because I haven't thought about being an imposter, I haven't thought about like, oh, how am I going to manage training, but also going on from that point of friends and family. Recently, I've also been having this thought of like, wow, I have had it so good for like so long in terms of my relationships with the people I love. And when I go to training, that could all very much change. My friends and family and partner won't leave me because I'm going on training, but unfortunately, training is going to be my #1 priority for the majority of the time. Yes, that might change here and there, but for the most part, it will be my #1 priority. And so I won't be able to spend as much time with the people that I love. And so that means that relationships will change a little bit. And I just really hope that my relationships do get through training. I hope I don't get so consumed with training that I forget about the people that are important. So that's another thing that I'm worried about, like that life has just been so good in terms of like I've been having so much fun this summer with all of my friends, family and partner, and that's all going to change. So yeah, hopefully it doesn't, but there's also that concern, because I'm like, you know, what comes up must go down. But actually, among all of this, I do feel like I can do it now. I feel quite hopeful and excited that I can do this doctorate, because I'm a very resilient person. I don't give myself credit for a lot of things, but I am resilient as heck. And if I'm going to do something, I will do something. I will get through it, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much I don't want to do it, I will persevere. And those are the qualities really I think you need to get through training, from what I've heard. And I've had so much like encouragement spoken over me by my supervisors, by my friends, by everyone around me, who are literally just cheering me on, and I'm actually starting to believe it now. Also, what I think has really helped is connecting with other people in my cohort. So we're so lucky in this age of social media where we've been able to connect. We have a WhatsApp group already, like even before we started the course, we're all chatting on there, and we're all just normal people. And so I feel like that makes me feel more competent and able to do it. But also like receiving emails with our timetable and seeing what I'm going to be learning. I'm just so freaking excited to be learning about something that I am genuinely so passionate about, and it's just going to better me as a clinician, and it's just so exciting. So I'm finally at this point now where I think I'm actually enjoying the fact that I'm going on training, which I kind of wasn't for a long time, because I was mainly just like stressed with like, how the heck am I going to get through it? But I know I'll get through it, and I'm going to really enjoy it. So that's all that matters, and I'm so happy that I've gone to this point now. But then also with that, I have had to come to this like realization of how, and please don't come for me and think that I'm absolutely stupid, okay? We're all friends here. I've had to come to this realization that yes, the doctorate is going to be quite research heavy. Which I knew it was going to be, but I think for a while I was in denial. I was like, yeah, but it's a clinical doctorate, and yes it is, but there is also research, and like, guys, I haven't done research in so long, and even though I did fairly well in the selection test this year, so the statistics part, that was just purely down to me memorizing flashcards and really working my butt off. I don't think I really have this amazing understanding of stats now at all. So I'm a bit nervous for that, and so I've had to come to this realization that yes, you are going to have to do this, Shaz. You are going to have to do a lot of research, which is okay. And actually I think it would be really good to challenge myself in that way, because I'm actually not that nervous for the clinical work, because I love working with people. My supervisor always said the most important thing about like being in that room with someone is that rapport that you build with them, and is that rapport that you build with them, and that's something that I feel like I can do. It really is this research part that I'm a bit scared of, and that's okay, because my like word for this year, or like phrase for this year, was do it afraid, and I feel like so far so good, and we're just gonna remember that as we go through it. And so I'm not just gonna sit here moaning about my anxiousness and overwhelming feelings. And so I wanted to think about how I've coped with all of this, because like I said, these emotions are very like overwhelming. I've found like it's not just like this sense of anxiety or this feeling of like doom that all my enjoyment is going to end come October. I felt like these are such big feelings, like really quite overwhelming, and there's no other word to say it. These emotions I felt quite strongly. One of the ways was obviously being distracted, and that came through moving, that came through being out with friends, and just generally being busy. And so it's been in these moments of quiet where I've had to really learn how to cope with how I'm feeling. So one of the first ways that I've been coping is praying. I've been doing a lot of praying. I've tried to remember verses that I found helpful when applying for assistant psychologist jobs, and just remembering that, you know, his plan is better than mine, essentially, and that I wouldn't be placed in this situation if he hadn't prepared me for it. I know that not all of you guys are religious or believe in a God or have a faith, and that's okay, but that's how I've coped with it, and it's been so helpful. Another thing that really has helped me to cope was obviously supervision, and really being open with my supervisor from the beginning about how I felt, and she again spoke so much encouragement over me. Like, it was crazy. At points I was feeling quite awkward, because having people compliment you is a really odd thing. I've been trying so hard to like not deflect compliments now and just try to say thank you, but it's really tough. But it did help, to be honest. And she said to me, like, don't let people weaponize these things against you before you even go in, because I kept being like, oh, but I'm so young and I don't have enough experience, and it was my first time applying. And she was like, well, just don't like go in there with that mentality, because you can't go in there. You need to be like basically ready. You can't go in like feeling weak and powerless, because that's not going to help you. And so what emotions are going to be helpful is like you feeling competent and strong, and to like use these to actually like propel you forward. And so that is a strength of mine, that I am younger, and that I do have like maybe a different experience in comparison to other people of my journey. And so to just really focus in on that. And also just by sharing this in supervision, they were able to just really like get it into my head that I need to relax, because for a long time I was like, how can I prepare for the doctorate? Like, I'm too young, I'm too inexperienced, so I need to prepare like loads before going onto the course. And they were just like, no, don't do that. And they said it to me like every single supervision. I'm saying they, but like my whole team was saying, just take a break and relax. And I finally did listen to them, and so I have been relaxing, as you guys will know. And yeah, so it's just that practical advice that they've given me, and I guess the reassurance that I've had from them. The next thing that hasn't really come easy, and it definitely came with time, but like acceptance of, you know, these feelings, and just accepting myself for who I am. Because I had to realise that even if I got on next year, I would still be saying the same things. I'd still be saying, oh, I'm too young, oh, I'm too inexperienced. I don't think there would have been any time where I would have been like, yeah, I'm completely ready, like, I deserve to be on this course. I don't think I would ever be the kind of person to say that. And so having this moment of acceptance where I'm like, you know what, like, this is me and I am on the course, and that's what they want, that's what they wanted. They saw that in the interview. I wasn't fake at all, I was truly myself, and they wanted that. So I need to accept myself because they have clearly accepted me. So that has really helped as well, like having this acceptance, and that's something that I'm honestly not too sure how that has happened, apart from the fact that I've had to really tune into the thoughts and the voices of other people who have said that I can do it, rather than the internal voices and thoughts of, oh, you're so inexperienced, blah 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 blah, which is just so not helpful. So I think maybe that's helped with acceptance, but yeah, I don't know, I think it also comes with time. And finally, and this is maybe more like a practical thing, if you're someone like me who likes to have a plan in place and likes to be organised, basically I've been planning for when things get hard. So when things get busy on the course, when things get stressful, really having a good kind of plan of action for when that does happen. And so knowing what I will do for self-care, having kind of things in mind. So like, what do I want to do once a month? That is really good self-care for me. And that's kind of how I've coped, because I like to have these actions in place. And as much as I think it's really helpful to have these encouraging words that people speak over you, sometimes you need to do something for yourself so that you feel like you've got control. And so at first I was trying to control the situation by like preparing, or like trying to prepare. So like, what can I read? How can I like better myself before training? But actually that's not as helpful as like actually resting before the doctorate. And so how else can I have things in my control? And for me that took the form of like planning for when things maybe get a bit harder. And so that was really helpful for me. And so those are some of the ways that I've coped. I don't know if any other incoming trainees or current trainees are watching this, but I'd be really interested to hear whether you relate to any of these feelings, and I'm sure you guys do, but also how you lot coped with it. And I don't know, even those people who aren't on training at the moment, like as a different perspective, like how do you cope with these things? Because it's really tricky actually, because there's so many different things going on, it changes all the time. And I'm not even on training yet. So hopefully in the next video I'll have some more reflections about actually being on training and how that's all going. Please give this video a like if you liked it, and subscribe for more content like this. And until next time guys, I will see you later. Bye.